Take two. Actually, this is really take three, because a little while ago I thought I was testing something, and instead I realized I was streaming. Oh my goodness. You would think that this would be simple to figure out, but it's really not, especially when you haven't streamed anything at all in like 5 years. It gets very confusing. There's lots of things you can be doing. There's lots of things that you want to do. And also, we live out in the country. We have had satellite internet, which is awful, for about 5 years. And just a few months ago, we were able to get rid of satellite internet and get onto AT&T wireless broadband, something fixed wire. I don't know what they call it. AT&T something. They just built an AT&T tower like a mile down the road, which is great. So now all of a sudden we have consistent internet again. Because my husband and I, we used to live in Austin and Dallas. Like, we're used to having Verizon Fios, like Fios, how do you say it? We're used to having good internet. So then we moved to the country, no good internet anymore, and it's been awful. So just a few months ago, we got new internet. It's still not great. It's not Fios, but it's better than satellite. And we're content creators at heart, so we really wanted to start streaming again. And I used to teach, so I wanted to, hopefully maybe this year we'll get back into online teaching. And just being able to create some content. So we're newly back into being online at all. We were able to get rid of our also satellite television, and now we're streaming like video content in. We're on Plex and Pluto, and my son's watching Boomerang all the time. He's obsessed with Scooby-Doo. So it's been great, but it's been this huge learning curve. So one of the learning curves is just figuring out Twitch, which it's showing my microphone levels are like super high, so I'm going to turn them down. And I'm going to super apologize for the audio quality. Like I was saying previously, I have a mic right here, but you know what? I'm just going to move it. Let me test this. Yeah, it's not doing anything. I have it plugged into my computer. Clearly, I have it plugged into the computer wrong because it's not doing anything, and it's just using my my laptop mic, and I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong. I thought I did it right. The mixer thing over there is on. I don't know. I got tired of messing with it. And last video I did, I just used the mic on the laptop, and I realized that it's somewhat annoying, but it's probably not impossible to hear, right? We'll figure it out. I'll get my husband to show me how to do it next time. So today I thought I'd work on an actual pattern, which is called the Crust Headband. Give me a second here. I'm going to pull it up. I don't think I can. No, I'm going to back up. I'm sure that there is a way to share my screen on streaming. I don't know how to. I haven't figured that out yet, and I probably could have looked that up before I jumped in the stream, but of course I didn't think about that. So let me see. The Crust Headband I found on, I think Yarnspirations had posted about it, but it's on a website called Mirella Moments, Mirella Moments. But if you just Google the Crust Headband, it will pull up. So it's a free knitting pattern, and it uses a provisional cast-on. It is a headband that is knit in the round, so it's double layered, and then at the end of it, it's grafted together with Kitchener stitch. So there's a lot of going on in this pattern, and also I'm going to do some alterations because I don't like my headbands quite as wide as this one's supposed to be, and the yarn that I'm using is different, and the needles that I'm using are a different size. So I'm going to go through what the pattern says, then go through what alterations I'm doing, and then we'll start. And I'm actually going to use circular needles and use the magic loop technique, which I really like. I can tell that my webcam camera is it's not happy. So you know what? I'm just going to switch to, that is not what I wanted to switch to. I wanted to switch to let's see. Give me a second. We're going to switch to just the other camera. Maybe we'll switch to it if I can figure it out. Where is it? My laptop camera is unhappy. I hope you can't hear the baby in the background fussing. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Where is my other camera? I know you expert Twitchers, you're probably watching this going, what on earth is her problem? Why can't she figure this out? And really, I don't know. That's the true story. Okay. Laptop cam, that's what this is. I want my other camera. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Let's see. What is this called? I have In the Jungle stuck on my head because my 4-year-old, he sings it just out loud and it's pretty ridiculous. Okay, video capture device. Add existing phone cam. Okay. We're gonna delete laptop cam from that scene. Yes. We're just gonna put the phone cam. And we're going to make it bigger. Okay. There. All right, well, it's still not great, but it's better than nothing. I really don't know what's happening today. Like, I messed with the bitrate. I know, I'm just gonna have to learn. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'll probably have to do some more of these where I'm all messed up. But okay, so the Crust Headband, that's what we're going to work on. And like I said, I'm going to go over what the pattern says, and then I'm going to do my own alterations. So she says to use a light worsted or DK weight wool and to use size US 6 or 4mm needles. Now we are going to use... The yarn that I'm using is a wool from Scotland, I'm pretty sure. My brother-in-law and his wife bought it for me when they were on their honeymoon. Let's see if you can see that. The Croft Shetland colors. It's really pretty. I really like it. Anyway, it suggests using 5mm or US 8 needles, which is what I'm going to be doing. So mine's a little bit bigger than what, I guess I could show it to you where you can actually read it, huh? Right side up. Anyway, so my yarn, my needles are going to be a little bigger. So back to the pattern, she suggests that to do a provisional cast on to chain stitches with a crochet hook. I'm not going to do that. I'm not good at chaining stitches. I'm not good at crochet. We'll do a different technique. And she suggests casting on 52 stitches for the pattern. We're going to do less than that because our yarn is thicker and our needles are bigger. So we're going to do less than 52 stitches. I'm going to double check here. I think she says if you're doing it less, it needs to be a multiple of 4. Let's see, what is she saying here? Multiple of 2. Okay, so as long as it's a multiple of 2, it'll be fine. Okay, so let's get started. So provisional cast on, she suggests just chaining stitches with a crochet hook and with a different yarn, and then using your needles and the yarn that you want to use to cast on for your project. I am not good at chaining. So I'm going to use a different yarn and I'm going to do a different technique. So let's see. We'll just use some of this random yarn. I got this at, I think in a Knit Picks. No, not Knit Picks. What is the, it was a mystery yarn box. Knit Crate. It came in a Knit Crate, which, by the way, is my favorite yarn mystery box there is that I've tried. I've tried Darn Good Yarn, which is wonderful, very colorful, and cheap, the cheapest of the mystery yarn crates out there. Knit Crate is kind of mid-ranged and is my favorite, hands down, and I would still be getting it if it weren't for COVID. More budget reasons than anything. And then I've also tried Yarn Yay by Vicky Howell, which is pretty cool too. I like them all, but Knit Crate is hands down my favorite. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just use this other strand of yarn and just do a long tail cast on as my provisional cast on, just because I'm more comfortable with it. So I don't need 52 stitches, I just need a multiple of 2. And again, we're going to be knitting this in the round. It will be a doubly thick headband. So I'm going to cast on enough stitches for half of them to be the width of what I want my headband to be, if that makes any sense. So you know what, I wasn't even counting. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We've got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I think I'll do 30. I think that sounds about right. I don't like super thick headbands because my hair is short, and for whatever reason I feel like super thick headbands don't work well for short hair. I mean, I know that doesn't make any sense. I just don't care for them. Just a personal thing. And then for me, I just because I do, I like to kind of tie off this last stitch so it's not super loose. Because you're gonna take it off later anyway. I mean, I don't do like a tight knot, but okay. So now we've got our provisional cast on, and I did 30 stitches. So then you just start your knitting with your preferred yarn now. You know, I can see, I have my channel open on my phone because I can't see my chat on here on the computer, and I can see my video is still, it's not glitching as badly as it was last time I streamed, which was a few days ago, but it's still not doing, it's still not great. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Yeah, we're still glitching a little bit. I don't know why. I wish I knew. All right, well, maybe we'll figure it out. And maybe it'll just fix itself. Who knows? Okay, so back to knitting. So this is a way you can do a provisional cast on. And the reasons you would want to do a provisional cast on are for when you want to be able to undo the first row of stitches to join back together if you're making like a cowl, or in this case a headband, something that will loop back together. And it can be a just a cylinder loop, or if you twist it once before grafting it together, then it will be a Mobius strip, which is actually what this is going to be, is a Mobius strip. So I can see now that my video is having some sort of lag for some reason. So I'm going to put my Be Right Back screen on for a second, give it a chance to reset, and then I'll come right back. Okay, we're back. You know what? I think I might have fixed my issue. I turned off buffering. That seems to be working better. I don't know. We'll see. If it's really terrible, then I'll turn it off again. I don't know. Okay, so we have our provisional cast on. It's great and lovely, and now we can start knitting. So the first row of the Crust Headband is just to knit across. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to use our yarn, our wanted yarn for this headband. I have to find my end. I had started this a few days ago, and then I don't even know what happened. Children happened, or a dog or something, and it got all messed up. And so I had to restart it. So I thought, you know, I'll just restart it on stream, and then I can just document the whole making process. So now we're going to use our yarn that we want, and we're just going to knit. So the first row of the Crust Headband is to just knit across. And when you're knitting from a provisional cast on, you just add your new yarn and start knitting. Just don't pull that first stitch too tight, because otherwise you'll pull it right out of that first loop. But otherwise you just start knitting. Now this, again, is meant to be in the round. And clearly I have these super long circular needles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the magic loop method, which not everyone knows how to do. And I'll be honest, it took me a long time to even try it. It looked scary. I would watch other people do it on YouTube and was like, nope, that's not for me. That's too tricky. And once I learned how to use it, and it took me a couple tries. I tried magic loop probably 3 or 4 times before I really got the hang of it. Part of that problem was that I was trying to knit socks, and I'll be honest, I hate knitting socks. They're not my thing. There's so much about them that I dislike. I won't go into it right now. But so I was trying to knit socks using magic loop, and I just couldn't get the hang of it. And then the way I learned was actually kind of backwards. I didn't start a project using magic loop. I was finishing a hat, and I didn't have my double point needles with me. And so I had done the hat on the circular needles, and I wanted to do my decreases, and it was getting kind of tighter and tighter. And I thought, you know, I bet you I could just kind of pull the cord out a little and split the stitches up half and half and decrease it that way. And so I did. I kind of accidentally discovered magic loop on my own, decreasing a hat. And then as I was doing my decreases, I thought, oh wait, I'm doing magic loop right now. This is all it is. It's really not that complicated. But if the concept of it seems really difficult, start with something big, start doing decreases, and then kind of evolve yourself into magic loop, and you'll get it. It's really not that tricky. The trickiest part, though, is this. So I just knit my first row of stitches, and normally you would now turn your hands and knit across, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we want this to be a cylinder. So you pull it down your cord. This is going to look really messy because I have yarn everywhere, but that's okay. And then you bend your cord in half, and you want about half your stitches on one side and half your stitches on the other. You can count if you want to, but you don't have to. There's really no need. You can figure it out as you go. So now I have half the stitches kind of on the original needle, and then I have the cord through. I'm going to pull this needle this way. Now I turn it like this, okay? My end stitch is back here, and my beginning cast on stitch is over here. So now to do magic loop, what you do is you just shift the back half of your stitches over here on your needle, and then pull the back needle out, and you just keep knitting. So, and whenever you do that, you want to make sure this yarn is over, otherwise you'll accidentally do a yarn over. Okay, So now, I know it looks fiddly, it really does, but it's not. And the second row in this pattern is knit one, purl one all the way across. I'm just going to pull a little bit more of that out so it's not pulling so much. Some keys to magic loop. That first stitch, you want to pull extra tight because it'll have a little gap. And even if it has a little gap, especially this first row, it's okay. You can tighten it up with your tail yarn later, especially with this headband, because we're going to be sewing the two ends together at the very end, so it's really not a big deal if there's a bit of a gap there. So now we're just knitting one, purling one all the way across. You move your yarn from front to back and back to front with every one. So now we're at the end, so we just switch around, push the needles up on this needle, or push the stitches up on this needle. I know it looks messy, it looks confusing, and it is a little messy and confusing, especially these first couple of rows, but I promise you it's really not that complicated. It's just a little fiddly, and because I pulled this first stitch so tight, it is tight coming up here on my needle, but that's okay. It's not impossible. Just a little tight this first row. It kind of has to be, but that's all right. You'll get through it. And I'll show you another tip too that I like to do. Okay, so we're just gonna knit one, purl one across this row, and then this is kind of the setup row. So the setup row is to, or the whole setup for this headband is to do your provisional cast on, however many stitches she wants. She suggests, I think it said 52 stitches, but we did less than that. We did 30, is that what we did? I think that's what we did. Then you knit the first row with the yarn that you want, and you join in the round, and the second row you knit one, purl one. So we've done our 2 setup rows. See, there's a big gap here. That's all right. It's fine. It'll figure itself out. And also you can kind of pull on the tail to tighten that up. But really, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Now, before we continue, I want to show you one of the tricks that I like to do, because inevitably, you're always going to be knitting with this back needle. You're always taking this needle out and knitting with it and shifting your stitches around. This side is always a little tighter as you're trying to shift them back up on this needle. So what I like to do, since we're always knitting with this back needle, I like to put a needle size smaller on this left-hand needle. And you can do this if you have interchangeable needles, which I do. So I'll use the needle size I need for knitting on there, and then one needle size smaller on this side, and that way when I'm shifting my stitches back up, it's not so much of a hassle. So that's just a little trick and tip that I've learned. Okay, so now we're ready to actually do the headband pattern, which is we knit 3 rows, and then the 4th row we knit 1, purl 1 across. So pretty simple pattern. So we're just gonna knit our 3 rows. The other nice thing about this magic loop method is you kind of know where your rows start and end because your tails are right here in the crevice. So I don't typically use a stitch marker. What's happening over here? Twist around the other way, please. When I'm doing, it doesn't want to twist around. Okay, fine. We'll just deal with you over there. I don't really use a stitch marker when I'm knitting with magic loop because my tails tell me where we are. All right, so this is the first row. We're still glitching a little bit over here, aren't we? I'm looking at my feed on my phone and it's still not perfect, huh? I don't know why. Also, I realized that I probably need to scoot over a bit so you can see me better. Oh, I've scooted the wrong way. That's better. This is more comfortable for me anyway. It's hard getting used to the overhead camera. All right, so that's row 1. Why are we glitching, camera? Oh my goodness. Row 2. I really love this yarn. It's 100% wool, so I will make sure not to wash it in the washing machine because that will make it felt. Most yarns that are 100% wool, you cannot wash in the washing machine. The exceptions to this are anything that says superwash wool. If it says superwash, then you can throw it in the wash and it will not felt up on you. And felting up means when the yarn, the wool becomes dense and thick and it will shrink whatever it is that you've tried to wash. If you've ever accidentally washed a sweater that suddenly came out of the wash looking like it would fit a baby, then congratulations, you've accidentally felted something. There are times when you purposefully want to felt something, like when you're doing little softies, loved stuffed animals. Sometimes you purposefully want to do that. Or if you're making like little knit baskets, which I've actually made a lot of, sometimes you purposefully use wool and knit it up nice and chunky, and then you put it in the wash so that it will felt up and get a little smaller, and it makes the fabric much denser, which would be a good thing for a basket, not a good thing for a sweater. You don't really want your sweater to be stiff and dense. It's probably not the motif you're looking for, but if it is, then just knit your sweater about 4 times larger than you want it to be, and then throw it in the wash, and it will felt up into a smaller, denser fabric. So, okay, that was our 3rd row of just knit, and then the last row in the pattern is knit 1, purl 1 across. So, magic loop, not that scary, very versatile. In my, oh, I forgot the pattern. I knit 2. Knit 1, purl 1. In my video about I-cords, I said I rarely use my double points anymore, and honestly, this is why. Once I figured out how to do magic loop, there was really no need for all of my double points. Now, as you've seen, I still have all my double points, and I do take them out from time to time, especially when I'm just like swatching something, when I'm just trying to figure out what a little pattern or stitch looks like in a certain yarn. I'll pull out my double points and just do it there. You know, they're smaller, they're easier for me to kind of like throw in my pocket if the baby takes off down the hallway and I need to chase her down, which if you have a 1-year-old, nearly 1-year-old, you'll know what that feels like. But in terms of actually using them for like decreasing on hats or doing a small project like a sock or a drawstring pouch or something, nope, I don't use them. I would much rather do magic loop. It's much more versatile, I think. Now, it's not everyone's cup of tea, which is fine, but it's my cup of tea. Okay, you know, I'm still having some serious video lag, so I think I'm going to call it quits for now and see, because, you know, we don't need to do a super long video where it's going to glitch out every second. Let's do a nice little close-up on what we've done so far, though. So far, with our Crust Headband, we've done a provisional cast-on with some scrap yarn. We used the long tail cast-on method. Then we knit 1 row with this wool, what was it called again? The Croft Shetland colors, Shetland Island wool. So we did 1 row of knit, then we did 1 row knit 1, purl 1. We joined with magic loop, We joined in the round. We have a little gap here, but look, it's kind of tightened itself up now. Oh, and now my light has gone out. So yet another indication that we should probably call it quits now while we can. Oh my goodness. What is happening in this house right now? And then we did our first 4 rows in pattern. We did 3 rows of knit and 1 row of knit 1, purl 1. So now that everything is shutting down on me, I think I'll say bye for now. Hopefully next time we'll have less technical errors. For those of you watching, which my videos are actually being watched when I'm not streaming live, which is awesome, Google me, Google Fire Tower Knits, and if you could, become a subscriber on this channel, and if you want to, become a subscriber on my YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel, but until you get, I think it's like 100 subscribers, you can't have a custom URL name. So my YouTube name is like, you know, U12GXY. It's a terrible YouTube name. So I don't even put the link in here because you can't copy and paste in the video. No one's going to type that out. So yeah, do a Goog for Fire Tower Knits YouTube and add me on there if you would like to. Please become a subscriber or a follower on this Twitch channel. That would be wonderful. Like I said, I'm just getting started, as it's, I mean, pretty evident. We're just getting started, but I plan to do a bunch more content this year as we figure things out and get them to work better. Maybe next time I will figure out the glitchy video issues, not have a light go out, and be able to hook my mic up to the computer. So those are my 3 goals for next stream. And we will keep working on the Crust Headband. Look it up if you want to follow along. We've just done, you know, the setup and 1 row, so we're not that far. So if you want to join me next time with your own Crust Headband, feel free. And until next time, thanks for watching. Happy knitting, happy crafting, and maybe next video I'll have people jump in during the stream. We'll see. See you next time. Bye.